Okay.
Well, good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the May Sun Valley Nominations and Elections Committee meeting. Um, we are meeting a week earlier because next Monday, I'm sure everyone will be enjoying Memorial Day. So I'm going ahead and call the meeting to order. We have Michael is with us, Gail is with us. Karen is contacted me and said she would not be able to attend tonight. So she has an excused absence. Um, we have a quorum. So the next item on the agenda is to
I'm trying to get the agenda right now, but it's weird. I went to Sudden Valley to get it, and it comes up and says, join us to vote for Joshua Bowens, Tom Red, and Mary Stidham. And that's what's on the website.
uh-oh.
Pathetic.
Do you want me to send you the agenda?
Yeah. Huh. Um,
Morgan, do you have do you have access to the agenda I sent you? Can you send that over to Michael?
Yeah, yeah,
Would you? Thank you.
yeah. Hold on,
that's
I'll
the
take
wrong
care. I'm gonna
page.
send it to your email.
So
That was
pretty
the wrong page all the way altogether. So that was wearesuddenvalley.com. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Rob. Ignore me.
so pretty straightforward agenda tonight. We're going to approve the April 24th minutes. We'll have member comments if there's members with us. Ongoing, we're going to discuss the Unilect contract that was approved by the board, open community positions. We're going to talk about some open actions for getting prepared for the AGM election. And I think we're also going to add, I'm expecting a amendment to the agenda to add revision of the N&E manual that needed some reformatting and pagination, things like that. So so in approving the agenda, Gail, did you want to amend the agenda?
I would move to amend the agenda, but you can tell me where you'd like it to be. Just a brief item that we approve the 2024 N&E manual, which is unchanged from the one we approved a year ago, but it never made its way to the board for many different reasons.
Right.
And where would that be a good place for you? Ongoing business, maybe?
Yeah, under ongoing business, I probably should have lettered these, but why don't we go to that first, right? Let's put that above Unilect contract. Does that sound good?
It sounds good to me, and I did send it to everyone, and I kept reminding you all that you actually saw the document a year ago, and it was approved unanimously. And taking a last look at it, I made about 6 minuscule formatting corrections. And the thing that I changed was the signatures, because we have a new
Well,
board
Gail,
and we have a new entity chair.
why don't we get into all that once that comes up on the agenda? Does that sound
Sure,
good?
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
fine.
Sure. So with Gail's amending the agenda, do we all approve it?
So, Kevin, what we
Sure.
do? Amend the agenda to add what?
To add N&E manual 2024 revision
Under new
Approval.
business?
under ongoing business, because this has been something we've discussed before. It'll be the first item above Unilect contract, Michael.
And so
Mike, the only email I could find in that I had is your street jogs email.
don't worry about it. I got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So we've we've amended and approved the agenda by adding
Mhm.
2024 NNE manual revision,
Mhm.
the first item on under ongoing business.
Mhm.
Um, so the next item is approving the April 24th, 2024 minutes. So is there a motion to approve?
Well, I'll again make a motion to amend them. I did send to everyone some pickups that I picked up this afternoon. Karen and my last names, number one. And to try and clarify that issue, maybe it's a moot issue. We decided not to go further with it, but the issue of the members not in good standing. I wanted to make sure the discussion, as reported by Michael, showed two things. Number one, that there is no single Consumer Protection Act, so we don't have a source for that concern. But that number two, in April, there was a consensus, I think led by Michael, like the AGM worked under the existing last year's contract. We didn't have an issue with this members not in good standing. Let's just go forward and let that be.
That's my
Not
recollection.
invoke. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's fine. That was the consensus I thought of our last meeting is not, we're not going to ask for an attorney review or anything. We'll just be silent on that.
I think I
Yes.
made notes of that in here, though.
You mean last time?
Yeah, I think I thought I put that in here. So basically, you want me to add a line saying that that we were not going to bring up the members of good standing.
Well, Michael, I sent an email, page by page. It was actually just a single
You
about
did,
three.
but I couldn't follow your email and find it in here. I just didn't find it. I'll
You
look at
couldn't
it
find,
later. I'll look at it later and make changes.
okay,
Okay.
So we'll approve we want to go ahead and approve the agenda with changes.
approve
Yes,
the
we can, let's approve the
Minutes.
minutes with the changes that Gail mentioned in her email.
right. That was
Right?
sent up. Mhm.
Okay. All
Okay.
in favor? All in favor of approving the minutes with the changes that Gail mentions?
In favor?
Okay. They are approved. Thank you. At this point, we are ready for any member comments. If there's any members with us, welcome. Morgan, is there anybody that's our members or that are following along that might like to have a comment?
I don't see anybody raising their hands.
Okay. Do we have members that are with us though?
I don't see anybody in the waiting room.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, wonderful. And if someone joins us via live stream, thank you for your interest. Okay, so now we're in ongoing business. The first item is the amended item of the 2024 NE manual revisions. Gail, you sent out a good
Okay.
email that described it, but go ahead, please.
Yeah, really quickly, I would be hoping that our committee now would endorse the 2024 version. It's exactly like our revised 2023 version, except that I updated the members of the board, the secretary and president, and the chair of NNE, because we've had a change, of personnel. I would hope that Rob could get that to Keith or the executive committee or to Joanne for consideration at the next board meeting. I know that doesn't give them a lot of time if anyone wants to go through it page by page and etc. But at least we would get the ball rolling, because as we get further into June and then July, we start to be in election season. And if anything comes up, we do want to have an approved manual if we need to consult it. So that would be my hope. And again, nothing was changed. I mean, the only change, but it's a change from the 2022 manual, and we approved this change a year ago, was to put NNE in charge of the candidate forums. But we
Right.
approved that change already, and it's still there, and that's the central change.
Right. Right.
And the updated officers and et cetera.
The only
So
change was putting N and E in charge of what?
of the candidate forums.
Okay,
Remember, it used to be communications, and we
Yeah.
don't have communications.
Right, and we took notice of all of the attorney comments from our proposed revisions before. We didn't, we took note of those and we didn't add any of the language that we had proposed before based on the attorney's comments.
We worked with his comments, yes.
Right. That's
We
right.
incorporated them.
With your all's approval, I would be happy to see if this could be added to the agenda. It's pretty straightforward. I don't think there's a whole lot of, it's not like we're making major change. All we're
No.
really doing is, since there's no communications committee, we are noting that we will take the candidate forums under our responsibility. And then there was cleanup of footnotes. I believe there were footnotes and
Well, there were typos and little
Right.
references and superscripts. I mean, the kind of thing only an editor would love, right? In today's day of text messaging, right?
right.
But anyway, it's to my standards, my little workwoman's press standards, it's a clean copy now.
And there's a signature page with the current board and whatnot. And
Right, and if the board approves it, then we would get it signed, and then basically, and then hopefully it will be uploaded to the website. Again,
Right.
I'm not sure where the election materials go this year. I think that's something we'll have to be aware of, so that everything is in one place. That would
Well,
be.
we can work with Morgan on
Mhm.
I think that, like, the AGM link on there, on the AGM link, there's stuff from last year. I think we should probably take that stuff down and start to put up some other things. So, so then, is there a motion to, for us to approve what I would say is maybe a motion that we would approve the manual, 2024 manual, and what's the word I'm looking for?
Forward it,
And to forward it to the board for their approval.
right.
Our
I so
committee's approval. You move? I'm
I
sorry.
so move, Rob, if Michael got your lingo.
With this small committee, I don't know if we need a second. Is there any comments? Michael, do you have any comments at all?
no,
Okay. All right, all those in favor of approving the 2024 NE manual and take it to the board for their review and approval? Michael, are you yay or nay?
yeah, I'm fine. We don't have to vote,
Okay,
I mean,
all
that's
right,
just that they said that we didn't have to do this, but yes,
all right. Okay, so that's what we will do. Michael, are you ready for the next item?
yeah.
Okay, Unilect contract. So that the Unilect contract was taken before the board for their consideration at the last meeting. They had a few questions, not very many, and they did approve it. My comment to the board was that our committee had reviewed it. We had concerns that we would be tracking, and that our main focus was trying to get a contract signed and approved so we could go forward into the election season. And so we do have the contract that I sent you in place. There's a calendar on I believe it was attachment B that's
Mhm.
pretty,
the check.
it's pretty, there's quite a bit of work to do. So, for us, and I guess maybe I'm getting in a little bit into new business, but we're gonna kind of, guess we weave through some of this stuff. So, I think you'll notice that, so one of the things that Joanne really felt that was important, and I agree with her, I think it was a great idea, was to improve the mailer envelope so that it stands out, gets people's attention, and hopefully gets them to respond. One of the ideas that the two of us had was, could we come up with a 2024 Sun Valley election graphic that would be a graphic that could be used up until the AGM that signifies the AGM season, but also is maybe might be a little different than what we've seen in the past that catches people's eye. So the idea there is on July 30th, the NNE and BOD together will send Unilect a mock-up of the color carrier envelope itself. So what I'm seeing what that would be is maybe a color pink with a graphic. I was hoping to,
Joanne would create that.
yes. And what I'm hoping is that our committee or
I don't want to say yes or yeah, but
say what? I'm sorry.
is Joanne going to create the mock-up? Is Joanne going to create the mock-up?
I create the mock-up. I think that would be something that we and admin would do together. I don't think it's one person. She's asked us, do we know of anybody who has graphics, that has graphic art skills that might be willing to help us in creating a graphic? I had thought of Josh Bowens, but it sounds like he's taking a step away from being involved in some of the Sun Valley things going on right now. He's very talented. Do you guys know of anybody that in the community that might be willing to do that or help us?
Well, there's our friend Christy. I don't know. Actually, the Christy who does calendars and does art.
Okay.
I don't. Actually, her last name is it Christy Carrico? Is that her last name?
Yeah, Carrico Smith. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Can I comment?
Yes.
I'm gonna back up a hair here. You said you made a comment about something had some questions. The board had questions about the contract.
Yeah, really minimal stuff. They were asking things like well, they were asking some things like the ballots being mailed out of Bellingham rather than California, and questions about the ballots being returned to a Bellingham post office box. They had some questions about the mailing. There was some concern that if we sent a letter to the members who live outside of the United States, sharing with them the importance of getting their ballots returned in a timely manner so they could be counted. There was a couple board members that were concerned that we might be focusing on a block of votes that could push an election one way or the other. My comment was, well, all we're trying to do and all we've ever tried to do is help people in knowing the importance to vote, and that everybody who wants to vote has the opportunity in their vote gets counted. We're not trying to gerrymander. We're not trying to pull a block of votes one way or the other. So there was
Yeah.
some comment about that. Otherwise, it was really straightforward, Michael. It was,
Okay.
yeah,
I have a note here saying blank had questions. I guess it was the board. And I
board.
got a gist of what they were asking. Okay,
Yeah,
my comment on this is anything we do now making changes slows down the process of getting this thing to print. We need to get it printed. We need to get it guaranteed that it's going to be done. We need to review it in time to get it out in a timely manner. And any changes we make are going to increase the cost. Everything we add to this is going to cost more.
well, they've
Michael,
approved
you
the
mean
additional
we
cost.
as a committee?
Pardon me?
Michael, are you saying anything we as a committee add or anything that the Valley adds
We
to
as Sudden
last
Valley,
year?
anything we put in, we as the committee and the admin and Joanne and whoever's coming up with the ideas, everything we change and ask Unilect to get done or the print shop to get done is going to cost us more money.
Right. And
We have,
what
we
Joanne
have a,
pointed out to the board, because that this contract is going to be more expensive than what it was last year. But
absolutely, yeah.
she pointed out was, well, if you take into the cost of us with the special additional mailing, and in some cases the overnight mailings, and really, I don't think she brought this up, but I thought about it. The cost of getting in a vehicle and driving to Canada and back, it her comment was it was almost equal. Last year was just about equal to what we were going to pay this year. So our countermeasures of a separate an earlier mailing to the Canadian and the Australian. I guess there's somebody in Hong Kong, or anyway, there's somebody in Asia too. Somebody in Wales. I think there's somebody in Wales. Those, yes, that's going to cost us some more money, but it offsets itself. What she said to the board was, yeah, if the color envelope, if the color larger envelope, that's going to cost a little bit more money, but we expect to see a better response rate. And her experience in trying to collect data from surveys and from her marketing standpoint, you've got to have um, mailings that catch people's attention. Something that's different than, oh, it's Sudden Valley sending me something again. This looks more official. It'd be the size of something I get from my investment broker and whatnot. You know, that mailing envelope with a window. Gail, I think you were trying to jump in and you wanted to comment.
Oh, I think I was only saying, and we're there now, that yes, the changes are going to increase the cost, but they've already made a bid, and apparently the board has already accepted that bid,
They did.
right?
They did.
So it's a done deal. Yes, there are changes, and it's going to cost us, I think, about $5,000 more. Maybe I don't have it right in front of me, but yeah, I think Joanne makes a good point.
Was this logo added in there in the bid?
Yes. Well, not the logo, Michael. It's the larger mailing envelope. And
Well,
what
you were
we
talking
said,
about making some kind of graphic logo to put on it.
yeah, that we would supply that. They're not going to create that. We would supply it. We have a graphic
We
at
would
this.
supply it where?
We, Sudden Valley, would send them a graphic picture that they would put on the envelope.
But that was that in the bid.
Yes. Yeah, if you look at attachment B, it's on July 30th, Sun Valley's going to send Unilect a mock-up for the color carrier envelope. So that would be our logo, our graphic, and really straightforward, just our return address. We currently have a election graphic that Linda Bradley created, or somebody created several years ago. We could reuse that. We could reuse that, but we just thought it might be nice if there was somebody in the community that might want to get involved and have that opportunity to do that.
If we want to be more formal and seeking someone to do the graphic, we could maybe just reach out to the Sudden Valley Arts Group. They have a little bit more formal name, and just see if one of them, so in other words, one would like to volunteer. I guess making clear that it's a volunteer position, right?
That's a great idea.
Contribution.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
What's wrong with just this graphic that's in the screen right here, Sudden Valley's graphic?
We were just hoping to get something new that would catch people's eye. You know, that would like, oh, this looks different. It doesn't look like a typical Sudden Valley mailing. And it involves the community. Yeah, I don't want to get too tipped over on this thing. It's just it's an item that that we can reach out and see if we can get some help. If not, we have a graphic that we could use.
All right.
Yep. So what I'm really wanting to do is put these dates. I know in the past we've used the finance. There's a finance calendar, and the finance committee meeting on Wednesday. I'm sure they're going to bring that up and launch it. And in that, as you guys well know, there's items in there that on that calendar that involve us for our key dates.
Does finance have its own calendar?
Finance, let me see if I can find this. I'm sure you're gonna recognize this, and it's from a previous year. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Remember
I
that?
remember that. Yeah,
Yeah,
very impressive.
I'm sure finance committee is gonna use that or something like it. For us, keeping us focused, I thought perhaps we could use a Google Calendar and say an any AGM 2024 Google Calendar where our key dates could be in there. Things like hard date for like when we open the candidate applications, whatnot. So do you guys all use Google for your Google Calendar?
I use a Google Calendar. Yeah.
Do you,
We
Michael?
had this from last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Rob is calling the finance calendar.
Yeah.
I thought that was our calendar, but at any rate, it doesn't make any difference.
Down here it
the
says budget calendar, but
Yeah.
it shows all the dates. I thought this was very easily followed. This is Linda Bradley came up with this originally.
Yeah.
And then Joanne did something with it and changed it or something. But
well, we could use it. It could be that some of our items on there might expand that a little bit. I was mainly just wondering if you guys use Google so that if we created something that we stay focused on with ourselves, that you guys could access it if I create a Google Calendar. So, Michael, do you use it?
I don't use Google for anything. No.
Okay. All right.
Hey, we have a hand up.
That calendar has been created and is attached to one of the board agendas. I can mail it to you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Would you, Morgan?
Yeah.
And we may want with their, well, one of the things I was thinking was, I don't know who owns that calendar, Morgan, but if they're willing to allow us to add some additional items on here that are key to us.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Who
could just handwrite those in.
I can edit it if you send them to me. And then I can send you the calendar around with the
That's
edits.
great, Morgan. That's
Yeah.
probably good because then that's a single source of data that
Yeah.
different committees are using. Okay,
Okay.
cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, I guess, the things that I wanted to bring up on the Unilect contract. You guys have anything else that you want to talk about with it?
Well, just a quick comment, Robin, maybe you intend to get to it when we get to the new business item. Is the sequence of events in the calendar, in the new contract, attachment B. But rather than talk about that now, I think that's what you want to push over to the AGM election actions, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
stuff
okay.
like, yeah. So,
So fine.
just kind of we're getting into election season, so I wanted to bring that up then.
Mhm.
All right, open committee positions. For us, we have an open position. There was some interest in our committee by Joe Adams, and once I um, looked at his information, I realized, well, I know Joe. He lives by us over here. He's up the street, and I've actually met him and his husband down at the Quiet Pools. And nice guy. Yeah, I believe he works in the I don't know if it's IT, but he works in technology. And I called him. They were just getting ready to go on a vacation. I think he might be back. So he has expressed an interest. And I also understand that Cheryl Taylor has expressed an interest. She would like to help mainly with building uh, the instructions, the ballot booklet, doing some editing with that, helping with the ballot materials. And I think she was going to a conference, so I haven't heard anything back. Just that I'd heard that she was interested in joining our committee as well. So we need some help. Need to fill that position. Hi, Gail. Go ahead.
Yeah, a couple of things. Did these people reach out to you, Rob, and express an interest? Did they email you and say, hey, I'd be interested?
Well, I think what happened was Joe actually sent in a formal volunteer request,
I see,
and,
okay.
and that was right before we were out of town there for those couple weeks, and
Right.
and then Cheryl reached out to I believe Linda Bradley and said, "Hey, is there still an open position?" So
Okay.
yeah. And I know
And
Cheryl. We've had conversations before, and she's been involved as a volunteer quite extensively in with different things. So
yeah, no, I've worked with Cheryl back in the day quite a
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
So I know her. Well, great. That's great because we're down one person, and as we get into the election season, there's a lot of hands-on. Getting the ballots, collecting the ballots, doing the whole thing that Michael is so good at. With the ballot
Michael's
box. But there are a
awesome.
lot of other things too.
Yeah,
So that's great that people are expressing an interest.
yeah.
I had someone in mind to just reach out to, but maybe if we have two other people who are interested, this is not someone who said, hey, I'd like to help you. I just thought she might be helpful.
Oh, right on. Well, these are two people that did
Yeah.
express an interest. So I kind of like the idea with Joe is that he reached out to us first, and he seemed when I actually talked to him on the phone, and he's like, "Oh man, we're just getting ready to go to the airport tomorrow. I'd like to talk to you when I get back," and was sounded pretty excited about it. Want to get involved in
Mhm.
his community. Um,
Mhm.
and of course, Cheryl's been a long term volunteer. So Um,
Does Cheryl need to submit a formal application since apparently
yes, she
Joe Adams
would.
has done
Yeah,
that?
she would. In my mind, the process would be if there's two people interested, we would talk to them both. We would go offline and we would vote on who we would like to add to our committee because there's only one open seat at this point.
Mhm.
So I don't think we have the flexibility of adding two people because the bylaws stipulate how many members there are.
Rob, would you be reaching out to Cheryl though to let her know if she does
Yeah,
want to be considered that she should fill out that form?
yeah, yeah. It's on my to-do list for this week. So,
Okay, I'm
and
sure it's a
get
long
back to
list.
Joe. Yeah, yeah. So that's what's going on. I think long range planning still has some open seats. Finance, I think, has an open seat too.
What?
Mm,
I believe finance has an open seat. I don't think they filled their open seat.
ACC?
ACC, I think, is full now.
good.
Okay.
Okay. AGM,
So now we're going into new business.
we're going into new business, Michael. AGM actions. So one of the things that I think we ought to do is soon after we have uh, all the candidate applications are in, they've been vetted, they're opened. Um, I think we ought to look into scheduling a candidate forum sooner than later. And the reason why is,
Before we get into all that, let's go back into May and early June and July.
okay,
Have they done the reserve study yet?
no,
That should have been done early May as of the last 2 years.
yeah,
And
I was
the
told that,
operational budget and the capital budget should be done, I mean, like mid-July so is somebody planning this stuff?
yes, Finance Committee is starting the budget process Wednesday.
Who does the reserve study?
That's that's Joel.
It's
And
under contract, right?
pardon me,
It's under contract. It's contracted out.
it's under contract. And my understanding is that the process will go faster because Joel will have access to input data. If they feel like they need another a piece of missing data, he can go into their data source and input that in rather than having to send an email or a phone call back to whoever we've contracted with to do that for us.
And you said
So
the operational,
it's more interactive. Go ahead, Michael.
you said the operational and capital budget are starting next week?
No, they're starting Wednesday.
Okay.
Finance meets on Wednesday.
So that's May 23rd.
Mhm.
Okay. And so
We'll,
then
we'll, we'll see.
July 5th, we open the ballot or open application period.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so July 5th, we open the candidate application period, and then we just sit and wait and send out a bunch of letters and stuff to different means of getting the fact that we are having an AGM, there are openings. We should have the list of a list of open positions,
Right.
the number of open board spots and what's open on other things. List of open positions, so we can have what we should have that done so that when we send it out on July 5th, all that is out.
Well, is Rob putting in an article in the June views? Because remember,
Yes.
historically, at least, the views comes out so late
I know.
that if we aim for the July views, it's going to come in the middle of July, and in theory, you could announce your interest in running
Well,
Can
effective
we
this
do
is,
July.
that, announce it in June? I mean,
yes,
I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything in the bylaws that say we can't announce, say AGM's coming up, these are the number of positions.
Right.
Applications open on July 5th.
I've got a draft for the June views that I need to
Okay.
Good.
by Friday.
Is
It's
Friday the
basi-
deadline for the views?
Yeah, I've got a couple paragraphs. Basically, it's hey, it's never too soon to think about the election period. It's starting.
Uh,
Here's a basic overview of what's going to happen.
Can you add in that the fact, the number of positions that will be open?
No, it's
That would
too
be
soon.
good.
I don't want to do that too this soon.
No?
Something in July.
For people whose
Well, but
terms
July, we
expire?
won't get the view in July till the third week.
I think Rob, why would you not want to? I mean, we have individuals whose terms end. That's all that we would say. These terms are ending. They may choose to run again if they're not.
I could. I mainly wanted it to just be a couple paragraphs to introducing the election period starting, but I could throw a couple sentences in there about that. I was
Maybe
planning on
something as simple as
I was
there
planning
would
on
be
a
three.
June, July. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I think that Michael and I are in agreement on this. The problem, normally, sure, we would want to put this thing in a July views. Sadly, the views comes out in the middle of the month. So let's put it in the June views, which will come out the middle of June, and then people will have the info, and I think people will be curious to know what board seats will become open, or what board members' terms are up, however you want to put it.
Or do they can run again?
Yes, and some will have extinguished their ability to run. They have to take a
Yeah.
year off. I don't know if we have anyone like that coming
No.
up, but
Yeah, we
yeah.
could. I have no problem with doing that if you guys feel that that's important. But I
I
was
think it's
planning,
very important to get it out in June.
what I was
And
trying
I
to
do
say.
too, Rob, because if people are thinking about running, they want to know, like, who would be left? If they succeeded in getting themselves elected, who would they be working with? I mean, at least there's a lot that goes into making your mind up to run,
Sure.
because it's a big commitment.
Sure, I can
It's a
do
big,
that. I'm just saying that there's going to be, I'd like to have an article in the June, July, and August views.
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
for it.
So I mean, I don't think we can overly communicate. I even thought about putting on the website maybe a video announcement. I'm serious.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
I thought of some of the videos our committee has been part of, but that's fine. Never
what's
mind.
that? I'm sorry.
I was, when you just said putting up a video, I thought of some of the videos that never mind. I sometimes just want to have too much fun. I know you're serious, Rob, so let's continue with your concern.
Oh, I just thought maybe you were concerned about doing a video announcement. I just was thinking it'd be good to try all different forms
I
of
think it'd be
communication.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in July there'll be presentations of the budget materials. The main, as you guys know, the thing that's really important is once the board approves the budget, then the state law clock starts to tick.
Yeah.
Um, We can, we can add some of our committee. We can add, I'm just gonna say, we could add our committee actions to this calendar.
Mhm.
But things like when we're gonna send a letter to the people that live in outside the United States. I see that happening twice. There'll be at least 2 candidate forums. We can add that. The dates of when we will submit views articles, we can add that. What am I missing? I think it would be good if we had a person outside of our committee that might act as the, unless there's somebody really interested, but we could even ask somebody outside of our committee to act as MC at the candidate forums. That way there's this feeling of non-bias for some people in the community, or also that it gets more people involved that might want to enjoy that. I know we've had people in the communication committee who've done that and done a great job in the past. I also see us as creating our question. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't want to say create. I see us as putting together the questions that would be asked of the candidates. That's a function of our committee. And how we go about doing that, I think there are hot topics within Sun Valley that we may want to touch upon. I think it's more important to hear about what is somebody's vision about where do we need to go. So I see the board as being, well, for example, with the board is, you know, their role is to set the vision and not run the day-to-day business of Sun Valley. So,
Well, we have lots of time between July 5th and September 5th, or whatever day it is after Labor Day, to work all that
Yep.
stuff out.
yeah, yeah,
Our our main focus is one, getting July 5th, getting out the making sure we have information out in June that the AGM is coming and applications open on July 5th. And then at that point, until the day after Labor Day, when we open the applications, we have a lot of time for N&E to do what it needs to do of candidate forum dates and questions and all that stuff. We really don't have a lot to do in that little window. I mean, there's not a lot that we have to worry about. I mean, we can't do anything till we get the applications and open them and all that. But we can't have all this other stuff ready.
Well, one thing we need to do is thanks you guys for sending me electronic copies of the like the candidate letters and things like that. I, me or us need to go in, excuse me, excuse me, go in and edit the dates because the dates will change, being it's 2024. So cleaning those things up.
Well, I have a couple of questions, Rob.
Yeah.
I see Michael's just stepped away, but maybe he's coming right back. It seems to me that when we get to August, the way the contract is written, there are a lot of deliverables in August. And the way the contract is written, as I understand it, gives NNE now a larger role than they had last year. So I'm wondering if you would want to appoint some members of your committee, I mean, to give us an assignment or to give us something that we're supposed to do, or should we look at, would we end up having to meet more than just once a month in July and August? Because the workload gets pretty intense by the time you get to the end of August. And also, let me add, when I saw the calendar in the Unilect contract, I wondered if it would be possible really, I wondered if it was a good idea to be sending all these graphics and boilerplate and et cetera to Unilect in pieces, as opposed to trying to send them an almost final document. Doesn't that risk things getting dropped or lost in the, lost in the email? Just a couple of thoughts. I just am concerned that, obviously, Rob, you have a lot on your plate. This is not the only thing you volunteer for. And so, if, I, I think that possibly by the time you get to August, you have a point person for some of these things, unless you feel that you've got the bandwidth to do it. But hey, who's got the bandwidth to do it all, right? Nobody.
No, nobody. And I would rather team. So thank you for saying that.
Hmm?
I want a team on this. When I look
Uh-huh.
at the owner, I see, so on 7:30, Sun Valley sends the Unilect mock-up for color carrier envelope that the owner is Annie and Bod, because the Bod's going to approve it.
Hmm.
But really, we would carry water with that. So we would
Hmm.
send the Unilect, we would create the mock-up for the color carrier envelope and
Hmm.
get Bod approval.
Hmm.
Then on August 2nd, Unilect sends envelope art to Sun Valley for approval to print. That's us, and the BOD reviews and approves. So we
Hmm.
collectively with the BOD. Also in 8.2, Unilect sends official ballot voter instructions to Sun Valley. That's us and the BOD to review and approve.
Hmm.
Um, The remainder, 8.16, the 8.26, 8.30, that's the general manager. So
Hmm.
she's approving the envelopes. She's sending initial draft of approval to the ballot voter instructions. She's sending the mailing list and the voter guide. She's sending the Word document. Now I got to tell you, every one of these things that where she's saying she's the owner, she
Hmm.
she collaborates with us through me,
Right.
and then hopefully I'm
You must
coming
have a
through.
document that I don't have, Rob, because that's okay. Maybe you could send it later, whatever you're working on. I have something, but it doesn't have owners on it.
Oh, okay, maybe that's okay. Maybe that was part of the memo that she sent out to the board. I will look and find where this is and send it to you guys tonight. I apologize.
Well, that's okay. It'd be good if you did that.
Um,
Let me see.
do you
But
want me to
last
keep
year,
do you want me to keep going through this and just share with you who the owners are, or do you want to just wait until I send it out altogether?
Yeah, just send it out.
Okay. Go ahead, Gail. You had a question though, I
oh
think.
yeah, because I know that last year, and it worked okay, although we did have some technical problems, that Joanne and the chair of NNE, who was me last year, both reviewed this stuff and both said it was okay. Now, the problem we ran into is that we had electronic. This coming year, we're going to have hard copy. So we should be able to catch problems like fonts and things printed on the back of the ballot that don't belong there. Getting it electronically, we didn't pick those things up. So
Well, the other thing
I
is
don't
this
know
is
if you
going to
want
be
that role.
the other thing is this is going to be printed in Bellingham. We as a committee could go literally. We can drive over to the printer and look at it together.
Mhm.
This is all going to get printed in Bellingham
I see.
and mailed out of Bellingham. They've moved their,
Isn't there
they
a role
moved
for
their,
California and the California printer in this somewhere?
no, it's all been
Not
moved to
anymore.
Bellingham.
Oh, all of it. It sounds like maybe there's been an updated Unilect draft too, because I think what I have shows a role, this California is still playing a role, a California printer and
No,
so forth.
they're
Yeah.
no longer. We wanted the ability to be able to physically get our hands on something and review it
Yeah.
before it gets printed.
Okay.
Yeah. And it is a printer that Sun Valley has used before. Linda Bradley was very happy with them.
Uh-huh. Who are they?
It's SMS or SMA, I think. It's one of those companies that has 3 letters. It's SMA or SMS. Somebody that Unilect
Okay.
contacted and shared with them their requirements, reviewed
Mm-hmm.
their abilities, and came to an agreement with them. So everybody's happy about
Okay.
that.
Well, I think my feeling would be if we look at this calendar kind of as we are doing through August, we're in good shape. I know last year we kept missing deadlines by a day or 2 days. Apparently, ultimately it wasn't a big problem, although the Canadians did apparently feel that they were not getting their ballots, and that we're addressing that this year as well.
Yeah,
So,
let's see here. Let's see here. There's a date in here on when the Canadian ballots will be mailed. The Canadian ballots will be couriered over to Canada and mailed to them 2 days sooner than our US ballots get mailed. And that's part of that communication to the people living outside the country is we are doing our best to help to ensure that your vote gets counted, but you have a responsibility to ensure that you get it returned in a timely manner so it can be counted. Yeah, here it is. On 9/23, the Canadian ballots will be couriered to Canada for to be post office and dropped. And then on the 25th, on 9/25, the US ballots will be dropped into the US Postal Service.
and that also happens in Bellingham, and Unilect doesn't do it. We do it with our printer.
Yeah, well, the printer acts as the printer courier, yes.
Where do you
Okay.
have all this information at?
Um, it's in the contract.
Did you mail that out to us?
I did. I sent you the approved contract.
In the contract, there's something called Attachment B, which is this calendar. Although my version of the calendar does not have all the information that Rob is reading to us.
Let me.
I just have a contract proposal is all I
I
have.
sent you guys the. Well, I'll resend it to you,
Okay.
Michael. I'll resend it to you. It's I got the approved signed contract from Joanne. I sent that to you. I'll send it again.
Yeah, I don't
Would
have
you
any
send
of
it to me
that.
also, Rob? Because maybe just
Absolutely.
send it to the committee. Because to make sure we have it, because when I looked at my notes today, I saw that you were going to send us something and I didn't recall seeing it. In fact, it was going to be, I guess, this executed contract. So you could just resend it.
Okay. It could be in my head. The older I get, the more forgetful I get. If I didn't, I apologize, but I thought I did. And Michael, somehow I gotta delete. There was an email to you that was a .net instead of .com, and sometimes that pops up. So hopefully I didn't send it out to Mars or something like that. I apologize if I did that. Yeah. So these dates are some of the dates that I want to definitely that are associated with our actions. I want to get into this calendar, and that's why I was saying that this budget calendar might get real big. If if we're combining N&E and the finance committee and the things that admin's doing, it could get to be a big calendar. That's okay. It's just then
I think it's okay, yeah.
then every committee can see what everybody else is doing, So,
I think last year too, we were running into crunch time with the budget, in part because the resources of admin were being used for the 50th anniversary. And that was at the end of August, but there was a lot of planning leading up to it. So anyway, I'm hopeful this year we won't have quite the crunch and getting the budget info from finance because the board, the treasurer, the GM, the executive committee, et cetera, will not be distracted by trying to plan a big gala.
Well,
That's,
they are planning a gala event July 13th, just so you know.
well, that's a lot earlier. Is this the Valley Fair?
Yeah.
no, oh yeah, Joe Alley. Yeah, I brought that concern up from our committee about crunching of resources. I brought that up early on when Joanne and I first started meeting. I meet the first Thursday of the month just to talk about N&E. So
You're proposing to meet the first Thursday of the month, or you and she meet?
I'm saying the two of us meet to
Oh,
collaborate.
okay. Oh, good.
So all of our concerns as a committee get communicated to her.
Good.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. I just feel like we have a good relationship with our general manager between our committee and admin in that way. And I appreciate what Morgan does to help us. So I'm hoping there's less stress this year.
I think there will be. I think
And more,
I
more
so too,
fun.
but
And more fun. Like the candidate forums, I thought they were fun. It was neat to listen to people's answers, and the end of one of them wasn't so much fun, but
it got a little rough there. Now, what was my other thought here? Oh, I know. Just from my own personal planning, because I also have other things I'll be doing in September, October. You were talking about having our first candidate forum earlier rather than later, in fact, possibly in September. Did you
Yeah.
have a possible date in mind for that?
No, not yet.
Now, the ballots are
Did
only
you-
being mailed on the 23rd and the 25th. And so people will not even have gotten them. So it might be that it's going to run into the first week of October. If they're being mailed on the 25th, some people may have them. Many people will not have gotten them, right? So we couldn't do like a September 28th candidates forum. I don't see how we can do a candidates forum the last week of September.
No,
No.
we'll have to wait till the first week of October.
Yeah, I think so. But sometimes those forums get pushed further towards the AGM. I think there's so much we could do that ahead of time, so we're prepared to just launch. One of them being what question, having our list of questions, who's going to moderate the forum, things like that, so that we're all just ready to go. I'm looking here again. Yeah, so that lottery's on it's the first week. It's right after Labor Day, the first week.
The lottery? Oh, yes.
When we open up the
I know what you're
application.
talking about.
Yeah.
Labor Day is early this year, though. It's going to be, wow, September 2nd is the first Monday in September. And so we'll be doing the lottery the next day on September 3rd. Good.
Yeah.
Well, even if people hadn't gotten their ballots, we could have a candidates forum. But you'll have something in the September views. We'll probably have their little bios and their pictures and their things. We can still do it. People, in fact, maybe do it remotely or something. People could just watch if they wanted.
And I think we ought to have the forums, the first forum, virtually via Zoom or whatever. That way it gives people
Mhm.
living outside of the country or out of state or out
Mhm.
of Valley an earlier chance to meet people, to
Mhm.
be introduced to the candidates and listen to what they have to
Mhm.
say so they can start their decision making.
And
Mhm.
then have two other live ones.
Yeah.
Well,
The
two
other,
other live ones or one other live one?
Well,
we mean,
one
you
year
mean,
we had every weekend we met. It seemed like they had something going on up at Agave, but well, I mean, we could still do.
Well, that was two AGMs ago.
All right,
and
two
that
AGMs
wasn't,
ago.
and the Agaves weren't Sun Valley.
Well, I am aware of that, but
They were a
that's
lot of fun though.
But
They were good.
here's a thought that that we had. What if we were to have those several meet and greets in the dance barn? No questions, just come on in. Sun Valley could have some water, some refreshments, and do a meet and greet because that way people could bring their kids there. At the El Agave, that was pretty close to the lounge. It wasn't in the lounge, but uh, some people may have been reluctant to go to the restaurant. And I don't know. That's just a thought
okay. Well, we
that
can talk that out.
yeah.
Well, so
So
what the end result here is that we we see things are progressing, and the key date is July 5th, opening applications, getting some mailings out in June to the View and whatever other means that we could do that, and then open the application process July 5th. And then we got plenty of time to work out how soon we can do a Zoom meeting and maybe one or two forums and or like you say, a meet and greet at the barn and or whatever. Yeah.
is there anybody that would be willing to take a look at I believe there's a candidate letter. Well, there's an application. I believe there's a letter of invitation for people that want to apply, that they get a letter and then the application. Is there anybody that's willing to take a look at those and revise the dates for 2024 and look at them for accuracy? Could anybody take that on? That would be very helpful to the committee.
Yeah, I will.
Will you, Michael? Thank you.
I was just trying to understand the process. Now, if people want to apply, they simply apply, right? In other words, your views article tells them what they do to apply. So they don't get a letter
No,
until after we have received their application. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
right. But what I'm trying to get some work done up front, because on the 5th, we open it. What I'd like to have is the letter ready to
Ready to
go
go.
and the
Mhm.
application itself ready to go. It could be, I think there's some
People have
dates there
submitted the application, but they do then have to submit their headshot, their bio, and if they
Right,
want a
right.
vision statement, yeah.
What I'm getting at is the application and then the letter, that those
Mhm.
just be ready to go for 2024.
On
Mhm.
July
I think,
5th.
right, and I think Michael said he'd be willing to do that.
Yeah, I got the last 3 years of them. I can look at them and
Thank you. Okay. So we have a meeting scheduled in June for
The 25th, right? Oh, no, wait, the 24th.
the 24th. That's very close to July, that July opening period. Is there any reason we might want to meet on the 10th of June? You don't have to answer that question now, but I'm wondering, do we want to start meeting every other every other week, or is
No,
that,
we don't need to do that.
okay?
I don't think so. I think we can wait till June 24th and pull this
Okay.
all together.
Okay. Okay, so our next meeting is gonna be June 24th. Do you want to meet in person at this point? I'm good either way.
I probably could meet in person on the
I'm
24th.
I'm okay with it, person.
Okay, why don't we plan to do that? And I'm also gonna I'm gonna find out where we're at with filling our open seat. We need to do that on the 24th.
That sounds
Yeah.
good. I think all you need to do maybe is let Cheryl know she should formally submit an application, right?
Right, right.
That's the only little bit that we don't have.
Yeah.
All righty.
Is there anything else for the good of the order?
The good of the order. Uh,
Nope.
well, I would say, depending on the timing, the ultimate timing, I would be happy to at least moderate one forum. As I've said a couple of times, I've really enjoyed it. I just thought it was so much fun.
You did
But
great. You did great.
I was going to do a second one, except that I got very sick, just deathly sick. It was weird.
I appreciate that, and I kind of liked Rob's idea of finding someone outside of N&E that made it totally separate.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, we are nonpartisan.
Well, I know that, but it's still, it would, I don't know. I like
You
the
know,
idea that it's not, that we get a community member that is personable and would, not that you're not, but we can talk about this. We got plenty of
Yeah.
time.
we do.
Well, are you thinking each time, or one dedicated to an outsider and one to an NNE member?
Well, if we're only gonna have two, we have one of them on Zoom and one of them live, is what you were thinking. I think we should have three, but we got plenty of time to discuss this.
And I'm really good with even if we had three. And
Mhm.
we have plenty of time to discuss it. And what
Mhm.
I'm not hearing, Gail, is any of us say, you shouldn't do it. I think what we're saying is it would be good to possibly include somebody else outside of the committee. Because let's face it, we all know that we are unbiased in that way. But
Mhm.
there is an undercurrent that we aren't. Let's just be honest about that, that there is
Well,
some,
but here's the thing though, Rob, isn't there always an undercurrent? I mean, members have their views, their issues, the things they're pursuing. I guess my thought would be whoever we choose from the outside is going to be possibly, can we find like a totally strong neutral person?
yes,
Maybe.
Someone maybe outside of the valley.
yes, yes,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe. But we have time to think about it and talk about it. Okay, so when
Mhm.
we get off of here, I'm gonna double check on the mailings to you guys on the contract and it's really important that you have the attachment B that had the owners on it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I had attachment B, but it seems to have printed in a truncated form. I didn't at the beginning. My attachment B begins July 24th.
I believe the
So I don't know.
attachment, I'll double check, but the attachment B that I was reading
Yeah.
from with the owners, that could be
Yeah.
for Sudden Valley's internal use only.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay.
All right, you guys.
All righty.
Thank you so much for everything you do and your support and your patience. So thanks so much. Is there anybody would like to move to adjourn?
Move to,
We move to adjourn.
Okay, so
Michael's good at that one. Okay.
we are done at 7:46. Have a wonderful
Alrighty.
rest of the
Excellent.
day. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.